Okay, part 2 of the interview with Alanna at Island Glow Mobile Dental Hygiene. So, Alanna, give us a quick summary of what you shared in the first half, if you could.
So the summary was just like, yeah, my initial story of kind of what made me passionate about becoming an independent mobile dental hygienist um, with my work experience, and then just kind of transitioning, working for 10 years in general practice throughout BC, and moving to Vancouver Island, starting at a periodontal clinic, getting accepted into UBC for my dental hygiene degree completion degree, and yeah, and the challenges around that. So
Yeah, and I know you were saying right before we kind of lost service there that you were really shocked, I guess, maybe that you were one of only 18 people that were accepted into the program at UBC. And then that was followed by a lot of stress, and that you had a counselor at the time to help you through some things. I think you mentioned grounding exercises.
yeah,
And we were kind of just, I was just asking you to kind of dig into the fear back then of what you were really afraid of and what was really causing you the stress. And you had said that it was just fear of failure and of not being good enough.
yeah,
And
self worth.
yeah, yeah. So, and then I think you were just getting into, sorry, when I had to go and answer the door and someone so rudely interrupted us by ringing the doorbell, which like literally never happens. So that was weird. Um, you were talking about how you actually were able to use the counseling or the advice of the counselor in your life, and how you were able to turn things around fear wise, turning fear
Mhm.
into courage, strength. I don't know, what are the words that come to mind about how you did that?
Yeah, motivation, courage, strength, and honestly, like a lot of compassion for myself and self love as well,
Mm.
which, yeah, huge. Hmm.
Were you really hard on yourself before that? Like, do you feel like you weren't really loving yourself before that, or
Oh yeah, definitely. I grew up with a lot of like perfectionism in my parents, where and you get a B and that's not good enough. You have to get an A, and so yeah, a lot of negative feedback towards myself, and yeah, so that was a really good learning curve for me.
yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
I can see how someone that's a perfectionist would, at first feel probably quite elated that you were recognized and chosen to be one of these people. But if that feeling becomes attached to, I'm not good enough, and maybe they made a mistake in picking me, like that would be crippling fear for sure.
Yeah.
And I know, like I was saying in the first half of our interview, maybe not even half, but that we had a few conversations around that time, because you did fempreneur marketing school and you learned a bit about starting a business from a marketing standpoint, and you were kind of freaking out a couple times, and you were, yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember one conversation where you were thinking about maybe not moving forward with this plan, and you were
Oh
kind of like, I don't know if this is really for me. And
yeah.
so, like, you were there, so anyone listening or to this or watching this who's maybe in that place right now, like, what would you say to her?
I mean, yeah, like keep persevering and just surround yourself with those people that support you. Like that is number one for sure. And, don't be afraid to get help um, because you're not alone. There's so many people who struggle with that. And um, yeah, get help and like just I know everyone struggles the same and don't
Mhm.
feel alienated by that. So, yeah, there
Yeah.
was a lot of tears, and I was gonna say that Lindsay was one of like the number one people that helped me keep going in the program and get where I am today. So, yeah, thank you.
Aw, thanks for saying that. I was
Yeah.
definitely cheering you on, but I also was, watching what you were doing, and I was like, "Whew, that looks really hard." Like, I was like, I'm putting myself in your shoes and kind of knowing how you could, and this is what I want you to talk about next, is how you were able to what's sort of looking for, like you were able to adjust your life to put this thing first. You were able to say, okay, this is first, my studying, my school, my degree comes first. And then you were able to kind of fit everything else in. And you don't have kids yet.
Yeah.
And so that was one thing you didn't have to worry about as far as like juggling your whole life around to do this schooling. So I just thought to myself, if she really wants to do this, she can do this, like, so how did you actually do it? Like, I know you had counseling and you had help, so you had the mental support, but I want to know, like, how did you organize your life from a scheduling standpoint? What kind of things did you have to say no to make time for school? Like, take us
Mhm.
back to that phase of your life. How did you do it?
Yeah, I was very lucky that uh, a blessing in disguise was that COVID hit because I'm a very active person. Like uh, at the time, I was bike riding like 5 days a week, and those were like 3 to 4 hour bike rides, and then hiking. And have a dog as well, and I was still working 3 days a week. So my biggest thing was I did a lot of research, and actually a lot of the university like websites have a lot of resources to help you with that. So I did, like, time management was key for me, like number one, like when was I most motivated, when was I like focused. I would really monopolize on that time. And so that time for me was like when I first woke up at like 5. I would wake up at 5:30 in the morning, have a coffee, do 2 hours of like solid school, and then I would go to work for the day. I would probably do like an hour or two, and I was working 3 days a week. And then on my like Mondays and Fridays, I would schedule it like a work day. So, I would get up, do school, have a break, go for a walk, do school, have lunch, and blah, blah, and like so forth. And so that is definitely like number one. I would highly recommend anyone do. Figure out when you're most motivated and really like do work at that time,
Mm,
and make space for yourself at that time. And then just say no and to people as well. Like I have a really hard had a really hard time saying no. Not so much anymore because I really worked on that. But yeah, um, I would still go for bike rides, but it would be like an hour or two bike ride
yeah.
where it wasn't 3 or 4 hours, things like that. And yeah, and then once you kind of figure out and get in the swing of things, I feel like everything else kind of just falls in place. I had a couple good apps that really helped me as well. I think it was like the primordial timer or something like that, where you literally do like 25 minutes of work and have 5 minute break. And there's like different tools out there like that. But yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm.
You really like structure and you really thrive. I feel like you really thrive when there's structure and like what's coming and what you're doing today.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you really do well with that. And once you get that in your life, then like do you not kind of always have your next week or two or three or four planned out? Like what you're doing like almost every day?
I wouldn't say like day to day, but definitely I have like my priorities. Like I would say like a top three things. And like I have a list always of like, okay, I should do this. Or if I think of it, I'll like write it in my notes. But I don't get too stressed out now about like doing those things all the time because
Yeah.
that's just possible. There's always things to do.
Yeah. Well, and now that you have your business, you are up and running, you have everything in place. You've been doing mobile dental hygiene work for how many months now? Couple
Like
months? Three
two and a half,
months?
2.5 full months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you finding that you are, you're booking people into your calendar in a certain way, are you starting to kind of put some boundaries around like mountain biking and hiking so that you have certain chunks of your calendar that never get booked up by fun things and they're only for dental hygiene work? Or like how are you running your life differently now in the last 2.5 months than you were
Um,
before that?
Yeah, I would say that I'm still organizing it similar, but I still, just because I'm still working as well in
Mhm.
my periodontal practice, that I basically have like Sunday, Mondays that I'm scheduling. And so I'm booking those people in. And then if I have any free time, um, I would like to have like one free week in a month where I'm doing something like biking or something fun because, yeah, that's what fills up my cup. So,
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, you're working a lot right now, and that's the other thing that's super cool about you is that you're working and you're making income from 2 different sources right now. Like, you're making money from your business and you're making money from your job,
yeah.
and that's so, so awesome. I mean, it sounds like your business has really taken off and you've got, your calendar is getting more and more booked up all the time, and
Yeah.
word is spreading, and your business is just gonna keep growing, which isn't always the case with new businesses, right? Like, new businesses start up sometimes, and it can take years to to really get going. And I just feel like watching you has been really exciting because it's been like, I hate to say instant success, but I really do feel like, I don't think I've ever said that about a business before. Like, yours has been an instant success. And I think it's such a unique story that you have because you were working in this industry for a long time before
Mhm.
you actually started your own business in the same industry. So you already had a great reputation. You already had a lot of people that really like you. And
Mhm.
now any of their friends and family that could never come to you because of their mobility issues, they
Yeah.
can now be like, okay, my favorite awesomest Alanna can come and clean your teeth in, the seniors care home
Mhm.
or, whatever. It's such a neat story. And so, what would you tell your 10-year younger self?
Um, I would say don't take anyone's shit. There was a lot of times when I was working for a dentist, especially, when they would just like talk down to you and, yeah, really squish your self worth and all of these things, like these beliefs that you have. They were like, no, that isn't true. And especially the old school dentists, because they were stuck in their ways. And there was actually a point before I moved here that I was actually not even going to be a dental hygienist anymore. I was going to completely change my path because I was just so sick and tired of like these dentists. I would be like, okay, this person needs to go to a periodontist or whichever I was referring to. And then at the end of the cleaning, like I would spend an hour explaining like why I wanted them to go there, like what I was seeing in their mouth and what it was correlating to in their bodies as well. And the dentist would come in and be like, no, they don't need to go there. We can maintain this in office. And I was just like, and then
Oh,
teeth were falling out or whatever, and I was just like, literally, like, you can prevent this. And it's just, yeah, it was super
and so
sad.
was the dentist doing that because of money? Like, they wanted the patient to just to never leave their clinic, or like, why was the dentist not wanting them to go to these other?
Yeah, I would say that they were afraid of losing those clients to their practice, which is very backwards. But and it was, maybe they didn't believe that the clients were going to go because at where I was at that time, it was like a far travel distance to go there. And I honestly don't know why.
Wow.
But yeah.
Wow. It was like the dental cartel of Northern BC.
Yeah, exactly. We take all your money.
Wow. So then, like, what do you wish you would have done differently back then? Like, if you could go back and tell 10-year younger Alanna some tips and tricks or some do's and don'ts, what would you say to her? Like you said, don't take no shit, but like, what should you have maybe done differently?
Yeah, not work for those people.
You should have left and just been like, I'm not
Yeah,
working here.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. So
100%.
you stayed a lot longer than you should have. Do you think that those people kind of undermining you and just like belittling your knowledge had something to do with why you struggled so much in university? Because like, did they play into that fear a little bit, or?
That was probably to do with my self-worth as well. Just like not being able to stick up for myself and not being confident enough in myself to express like what I was seeing and what I was feeling. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just having you come and clean my teeth, what was it, last week or the week before? Week before. Having and seeing you, with all of your amazing new equipment that you have and just like
Pretty,
watching you get all set up and literally being able to have my teeth cleaned at home. Like the whole thing was just incredible. And I'm so freaking insanely proud of you. You've worked your ass off to get here and you are just like an absolute inspiration. So to be able to have you on the podcast sharing this story is just a dream come true for me. You are somebody that I feel like, I've known you for so long and I've been cheering you on for a long time. But I've
mm,
also I haven't seen a lot of people with your kind of work ethic
mhm.
and just a heart, a really, really big heart to actually help the people that you serve through your business. So yeah, this is definitely, I know I've been talking about having you on the podcast, ever since you fired up your business,
I
but
was
like,
like,
oh
what?
man, you're like,
Yeah.
what? And then
What?
today, just fun
Self-worth
fact,
again.
Alana texted me. She's like, is this a video? And I'm like, "It's a live video." And she's like, and I didn't get a response, so I called her and she was like, "Yeah, I'm just getting a little makeup on." And so sometimes I forget to mention that the podcast episodes are live videos.
Mhm.
So good job rolling with it. This is also, I think, is this your first ever live video
Yeah.
ever in the history of Alana's lifetime? So you did amazingly well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You make
Um,
it super easy and comfortable, so.
Yeah, well, I hope so. It should just feel like you and I are having a chat. Is there anything else that I haven't asked you to talk about? Anything else you want to leave fempreneurs with? Any more inspiration or any stories or anything?
Not overly, just yeah, like I would also like to offer like my knowledge and help if there is any other like woman or men in similar kind of positions that I am.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I had a couple people help me a bit out, and so I would just really like to pay that forward as well. Hmm.
Yeah, that was really, really interesting too, how you reached out to different people who had mobile dental hygiene businesses. And, some of them were more receptive than others to talking to you. But just the fact that it is a business that kind of keeps you in your geographical area. Like you're here on the island. So if you're talking to someone, say, in Calgary, Alberta, which is where most of my listeners are, about starting a mobile dental hygiene business, like it's not like there should never be a sense of competition, anyways, but there can
Yeah.
be. So thank you for saying that and offering your knowledge to people who want to start this up. I mean, I'm hearing of people starting up all sorts of similar businesses, like even mobile care for seniors or for people with mobility issues. Like my sister's actually just about to graduate from a program so that she can do that in Dawson Creek, BC. And so, I mean, maybe all those kind of businesses, I'm sure you have some knowledge and expertise to lend to them. And you've been
Yeah.
working hard. We got your website up, and you're a pro now. You're just editing your own website whenever you want to, and stuff. It's pretty fun
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah. I'm official.
You're official. So Alana's links are in the show notes. You can please go follow her on Instagram. She's got some really great content coming up, which I think is fun. And she's got a Facebook page for Island Glow Mobile Dental Hygiene. And she has, of course, a website, which is also linked below. So go and follow her, stay in touch, and cheer her on. And yeah, thanks so much, Alanna, for being on the podcast and for offering to help other entrepreneurs in similar situations.
Hmm. Yeah. Thank you, Lindsay.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And by the way, you can learn more about me and my marketing school for fempreneurs at yycfempreneurs.com. That link is also in the show notes. All right, bye for now.